In the heart of Japan, a new era was about to begin. This era would not only redefine the political landscape of the country, but also lay the foundation for a new social order that would influence Japanese culture for centuries to come. It was the year 1185, a year that would be etched in the annals of Japanese history. The country was on the brink of monumental change, and the events that unfolded would shape the destiny of the nation. A powerful warrior named Minamoto no Yoritomo stood victorious. His triumph was not just a personal achievement, but a pivotal moment that would alter the course of Japanese history. He had defeated his enemies in the Genpei War, a brutal conflict that had pitted the Taira and Minamoto clans against each other. This war was more than just a series of battles, it was a struggle for supremacy that would determine the future rulers of Japan. This war was a clash of clans, a fight for control. The stakes were incredibly high, and the outcome would decide who held the reins of power in Japan.
Yoritomo's victory marked a turning point. It was not just a military triumph, but a signal of the dawn of a new era. His success in the Genpei War paved the way for the establishment of a new form of governance. He established the first shogunate in Japan, the Kamakura Shogunate. This was a revolutionary shift from the previous imperial rule, introducing a military government that would dominate Japanese politics for over a century.
The Kamakura Shogunate was a feudal government. It was characterized by a decentralized system where power was distributed among various military leaders, known as shoguns, who ruled over different regions. Yoritomo, as shogun, was the most powerful man in Japan. His authority was unparalleled, and he wielded immense influence over the country's political and military affairs. He ruled from his base in Kamakura, a city that would become the political and cultural center of Japan during this period. Kamakura was not just a seat of power, but also a symbol of the new order that Yoritomo had established. The emperor still existed, but held little real power. While the emperor remained a figurehead, the true authority lay with the shogun and his military government. Yoritomo gave land and power to his loyal followers, the samurai. This was a strategic move to ensure their loyalty and support, which were crucial for maintaining his rule. In return, they pledged their loyalty and military service. This mutual relationship of land for loyalty became the cornerstone of the feudal system in Japan. This system of loyalty and obligation became the bedrock of the shogunate. It created a structured society where everyone knew their place and duties, ensuring stability and order.
The Kamakura period was a time of stability and order. The shogunate's governance brought peace to the land, allowing villages to thrive and people to live without the constant fear of war. The samurai, bound by their loyalty to the shogun, maintained peace throughout the land. Their presence was a deterrent to any potential threats, ensuring that the shogunate's rule remained unchallenged.
They lived by a strict code of honor, the Bushido. This code was not just a set of rules, but a way of life that defined the samurai's identity and actions. This code valued loyalty, courage, and honor above all else. It was a moral compass that guided the samurai in their duties and interactions. It shaped the samurai way of life. From their rigorous training to their conduct in battle, the principles of Bushido were evident in every aspect of their existence. One significant event during the Kamakura period was the Mongol invasions. These invasions were a test of the shogunate's strength and the samurai's resolve. Kublai Khan, the Mongol ruler, set his sights on Japan. His ambition was to expand his empire, and Japan was a coveted target. He launched two massive invasions in 1274 and 1281. These invasions were meticulously planned and executed with the full might of the Mongol military. However, the samurai, aided by fierce storms, repelled both invasions. These storms, which the Japanese believed were sent by the gods, played a crucial role in their defense. These victories, known as the kamikaze or divine wind, solidified the shogunate's power and instilled a sense of national pride. The successful defense against the Mongols was seen as a divine endorsement of the shogunate's rule, further legitimizing their authority and uniting the nation under a common cause. The Kamakura shogunate, once a beacon of stability, began to falter. Established in 1192 by Minamoto no Yoritomo, it had provided a semblance of order and governance in a time of chaos. However, as the years passed, the cracks in its foundation began to show. Internal strife and external pressures weakened its foundations. The once unified samurai class began to fracture, with various factions vying for power and influence. The Mongol invasions of the late 13th century, though repelled, had drained the shogunate's resources and morale. The Hojo clan, once loyal regents to the shogun, grew increasingly powerful. They effectively controlled the shogunate, making decisions that often favored their interests over those of the broader samurai class. This concentration of power in the hands of the Hojo regents created a sense of unease and dissatisfaction. They usurped the shogun's authority, creating resentment among the samurai class. Many samurai felt marginalized and disillusioned, their loyalty to the shogunate waning as the Hojo's grip tightened. This growing discontent set the stage for a dramatic shift in power.
By the early 14th century, the Kamakura shogunate faced a new threat. The political landscape of Japan was shifting, and the once dominant shogunate found itself increasingly vulnerable to both internal and external challenges. Emperor Go-Daigo, determined to restore imperial rule, challenged the shogunate's authority. His vision was to return power to the imperial court, which had been largely ceremonial under the shogunate's rule. Go-Daigo's ambitions resonated with many who were dissatisfied with the current regime. His rebellion ignited a civil war. The conflict, known as the Genko War, saw fierce battles between the forces loyal to the shogunate and those supporting the emperor. The war was marked by shifting alliances and brutal combat as both sides vied for control of Japan's future. Samurai across the land, disillusioned with the Hojo and inspired by the emperor's call, took sides. Many saw an opportunity to restore their honor and reclaim their status by supporting the imperial cause. The emperor's promise of a new order where the samurai would be duly recognized and rewarded was a powerful motivator.
Among those who sided with the emperor was a powerful warrior, Ashikaga Takauji. Takauji, a member of the prestigious Ashikaga clan, initially served the shogunate but became disillusioned with the Hojo's dominance. His decision to support the emperor was a turning point in the conflict. Initially loyal to the shogunate, Takauji switched allegiances, turning the tide of the war. His military prowess and strategic acumen proved invaluable to the imperial cause. Takauji's defection was a significant blow to the shogunate, as he brought with him a formidable force of seasoned warriors. His forces captured Kamakura in 1333, ending the Kamakura shogunate's reign. The fall of Kamakura was a dramatic and symbolic event, marking the end of an era of shogunate rule and the beginning of a new chapter in Japanese history. The fall of the Kamakura shogunate marked the end of an era. The once mighty shogunate, which had ruled Japan for over a century, was no more. The ruins of Kamakura stood as a testament to the shogunate's rise and fall, a poignant reminder of the impermanence of power. It also ushered in a period of uncertainty and change. The power vacuum left by the shogunate's collapse led to a tumultuous period in Japanese history, characterized by shifting alliances, regional conflicts, and the struggle for dominance among various factions.
Ashikaga Takauji, having helped topple one shogunate, would soon establish another. In 1336, he declared himself shogun, founding the Ashikaga shogunate, also known as the Muromachi shogunate. This new regime would bring its own set of challenges and transformations to Japan, shaping the course of Japanese history for centuries to come. The Ashikaga shogunate would oversee a period of cultural flourishing and political intrigue, leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of Japanese society. The shifting sands of power continued to shape the destiny of Japan as new leaders rose and fell, each leaving their own legacy.
Ashikaga Takauji, the architect of the Kamakura's downfall, seized the reins of power. His rise to prominence was marked by strategic brilliance and a keen understanding of the political landscape. Takauji's ability to navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries allowed him to dismantle the Kamakura shogunate, a regime that had ruled Japan for over a century. In 1338, he established the Ashikaga shogunate, ushering in a new era in Japanese history. This new shogunate promised stability and a fresh start for the nation. However, the transition was anything but smooth. The Ashikaga shogunate had to contend with the remnants of the old order and the ambitions of powerful regional lords. However, unlike its predecessor, the Ashikaga shogunate faced significant challenges from the outset. The political landscape was fraught with tension, and the new regime had to constantly assert its authority. The early years were marked by a series of conflicts and power struggles that threatened to destabilize the fledgling government.
The Ashikaga shoguns ruled from Kyoto, the imperial capital. This city, with its rich history and cultural significance, became the center of political power. The shogun's presence in Kyoto was both a symbol of their authority and a strategic move to keep the imperial court under their influence. Their control over the fragmented nation was tenuous at best. Japan was divided into numerous territories, each controlled by a daimyo or feudal lord. These lords wielded significant power and often acted independently of the shogunate. The Ashikaga shoguns had to constantly negotiate and maneuver to maintain their hold over the country. Powerful feudal lords, or daimyo, exerted their influence over their domains. These lords were often more concerned with their own power and wealth than with the stability of the nation. Their ambitions and rivalries led to frequent conflicts and power struggles, further complicating the shogunate's efforts to maintain control. They often clashed with each other, plunging the country into periods of warfare. These conflicts, known as the Sengoku, or Warring States period, were characterized by constant battles and shifting alliances. The Ashikaga shogunate found itself in the midst of this turmoil, struggling to assert its authority and bring peace to the land.
The Ashikaga shogunate, lacking the military strength of its predecessor, struggled to maintain order. The Kamakura shogunate had relied on a strong military to enforce its rule, but the Ashikaga lacked the same level of military might. This weakness made it difficult for them to quell rebellions and enforce their policies. Despite the turmoil, the Ashikaga period was a time of cultural flourishing. The shogunate's patronage of the arts led to a renaissance in Japanese culture. This period saw the development of new artistic styles and the refinement of traditional crafts. The cultural achievements of the Ashikaga era would leave a lasting legacy on Japanese society. Zen Buddhism, embraced by the warrior class, permeated art, literature, and architecture. The principles of Zen, with their emphasis on simplicity and mindfulness, influenced many aspects of Japanese culture. Zen gardens, with their meticulously arranged rocks and plants, became a symbol of this aesthetic. The warrior class, or samurai, found in Zen a philosophy that resonated with their values of discipline and honor. The tea ceremony, with its emphasis on harmony and tranquility, became a central aspect of Japanese culture. This ritual, known as cha-no-yu, was more than just the preparation and consumption of tea. It was a spiritual practice that embodied the principles of Zen. The tea ceremony became a way for people to find peace and connection in a time of chaos.
The Ashikaga shogunate, though marked by political instability, fostered a vibrant cultural landscape. The shoguns were great patrons of the arts, and their court became a center of cultural activity. Poets, painters, and craftsmen found support and inspiration in the shogunate's patronage. This period of cultural growth would have a profound impact on the development of Japanese art and aesthetics. It laid the groundwork for the artistic and aesthetic sensibilities that would come to define Japan in the centuries that followed. The Ashikaga period's contributions to art, literature, and culture created a foundation upon which future generations would build. The legacy of this era can still be seen in the beauty and elegance of Japanese art and culture today.